I'm going to tell you something that most doctors never say out loud. Your sleeping position could be the one habit silently setting you up for a stroke. I've treated patients who thought they were healthy, who exercised, who ate well, yet they collapsed overnight because their brain was starved of blood flow while they slept. I still remember one man in his late 60s, no major medical history, no warning signs. He simply slept in the wrong position, and by morning, half his body no longer responded. It was a stroke triggered by something he thought was harmless. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke. That means by the time you finish watching this video, 10 more people will have been rushed to the hospital with brain damage that could change their life forever. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you can never sleep comfortably again, but as a brain doctor who's seen the scans, the hospital admissions, and the heartbreaking stories of patients who never woke up the same after a stroke, I can tell you this. Some sleeping positions are far more dangerous than you've ever been told. That's why I'm exposing the 7 most dangerous sleeping positions for seniors. Some of them will surprise you. And when you hear the number 1 position, the one most seniors fall into without thinking, you'll understand why I called it a silent killer. One study even found it could reduce blood flow to your brain by over 30% in just minutes. But before we get to that, let's start with number 7, which already has a surprising effect on your circulation. Every single reference I cite is linked in the description below because I want you to see the science for yourself. But before we dive in, I want to know, from where are you watching us? Drop your city, your country, and your age in the comments. I am reading and replying to every single one of you. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 7. Sleeping on the right side. Most people never think twice about which side they fall asleep on, but your sleeping position could be silently increasing your risk of a stroke. Research has shown that the way you position your body at night can actually affect blood flow to the brain. When you lie on your right side, gravity naturally shifts the heart and great vessels in a way that may reduce the efficiency of circulation. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that people who sleep on their right side often have higher variability in heart rate and reduced cardiac output compared to left-side sleepers. In simple terms, blood doesn't circulate as smoothly, and that means the brain could be deprived of oxygen-rich blood during critical nighttime hours. For seniors over 60, whose arteries are already stiffer and narrower, this effect becomes even more dangerous. A slower blood flow means a higher chance of clots forming and lodging in the vessels that feed your brain, which is the starting point of most ischemic strokes. Meet Harold, a 72-year-old retired teacher. For years, he thought curling up on his right side was the most comfortable way to sleep. He liked feeling his heart tucked in and believed it was healthier. But one morning, Harold woke up with dizziness and slurred speech. At the hospital, doctors discovered he had suffered a mini stroke called a transient ischemic attack. After reviewing his habits, they pointed to his nightly right-side sleeping, which had put extra strain on his heart and slowed blood flow to his brain. It was a habit he never questioned, yet it nearly cost him his life. The truth is, millions of seniors are doing the same thing every night without realizing that a seemingly innocent choice could be cutting off oxygen supply to their brain. Doctors now recommend that older adults try shifting to their left side instead. This position has been shown to improve circulation, reduce pressure on the heart, and even enhance lymphatic drainage, which clears toxins from the brain. It may feel strange at first if you've been used to the right side, but small adjustments like placing a pillow behind your back can help you stay in the safer position throughout the night. Think of it as training your body to protect your brain while you sleep. But this next sleeping position is even more surprising, and it might be one you thought was the safest of all. Number 6. Stomach sleeping, face down. It might feel comfortable to sink into the mattress face down, but stomach sleeping is one of the riskiest positions for seniors when it comes to stroke risk. This position places the neck in an unnatural twist for hours, which can pinch and compress the arteries that carry blood to the brain. The vertebral arteries, which run along the spine and through the neck, are especially vulnerable. When they're squeezed or restricted, blood flow to the brainstem drops, which can trigger dizziness, blurred vision, and in worst cases, lead to a stroke. On top of that, lying face down makes it harder for the chest and diaphragm to expand freely, reducing oxygen intake throughout the night. Seniors already have lower oxygen reserves due to age-related lung changes, and stomach sleeping only magnifies that problem. A study from the European Respiratory Journal noted that face-down sleepers often experience drops in blood oxygen saturation, which over time can harm the brain and cardiovascular system. Take Eleanor, a 68-year-old grandmother who always swore she couldn't fall asleep any other way except face down, with her arms wrapped around the pillow. One morning, she woke up feeling pins and needles not just in her arms, but also in her face. She brushed it off as just sleeping funny, but within hours, she had difficulty lifting her right arm and speaking clearly. At the hospital, doctors revealed she had suffered a mild stroke. They explained that years of stomach sleeping had compressed her neck arteries and restricted oxygen flow to her brain, making her more vulnerable than she ever realized. Eleanor was shocked that something as simple as her sleeping style had set the stage for a life-threatening event. The good news is that breaking the stomach sleeping habit can dramatically lower the risk. Doctors recommend gradually shifting towards sleeping on the back or left side, using a body pillow or wedge pillow to make the new position feel more natural. It takes some adjustment, but the payoff is enormous. Better circulation, less strain on the arteries, and safer oxygen flow to the brain. For seniors, avoiding stomach sleeping is one of the easiest yet most powerful changes to protect their brain health overnight. But as dangerous as stomach sleeping is, the next position may be even more deceptive, because many people assume it's the healthiest choice. But before we continue, if you have been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 5. Sitting upright in a chair, dozing off. Napping in a chair might seem harmless, but for seniors, it's one of the most dangerous sleeping positions for the brain and circulation. When you doze off upright, gravity works against proper blood flow. Blood tends to pool in the legs, while the brain receives less oxygen-rich blood. Worse still, the neck often bends forward or tilts awkwardly to the side, compressing the carotid arteries that carry blood to the brain. This double hit, poor circulation from the lower body and restricted flow from the neck, can trigger a dramatic rise in stroke risk. Studies in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases found that prolonged upright sleeping is linked to reduced cerebral perfusion, meaning the brain simply isn't getting the fuel it needs. Over time, this increases clot formation and makes many strokes far more likely. Harold, a 74-year-old retired bus driver, got into the habit of watching TV late at night from his recliner chair. His wife often found him fast asleep with his chin drooped forward onto his chest. One morning, Harold woke up not in his chair, but in the ER. He had experienced a transient ischemic attack, a warning stroke, while dozing upright. Doctors explained that his forward-tilted neck had slowed the blood rushing through his carotids, while hours of sitting had left blood stagnant in his legs. Together, these conditions created the perfect storm for a clot to travel upward and temporarily cut off his brain's circulation. Harold couldn't believe that something as ordinary as dozing in his chair nearly cost him his independence. The solution isn't to stop resting in chairs altogether, but seniors must avoid sleeping upright for long stretches. If nodding off happens, it's safer to lie down in bed with proper support for the spine and neck. Even short naps should be horizontal, when possible, because lying flat encourages better blood flow and oxygen delivery to the brain. For those who must rest in a chair, like after surgery or with mobility limitations, a supportive neck pillow and occasional leg elevation can reduce the danger. Still, the safest option for the brain and arteries is always to sleep lying down. And while dozing in a chair raises hidden risks, the next sleeping position might seem peaceful, but secretly pushes your stroke risk through the roof. Number 4. Fetal position, tightly curled. Many seniors find comfort in curling up tightly on their side, almost like returning to the womb. But while it feels cozy, the tightly curled fetal position can quietly sabotage circulation and raise the risk of a stroke. When the knees are pulled up high toward the chest and the spine is rounded, the chest cavity becomes compressed. This limits lung expansion, reducing oxygen intake. At the same time, the bent neck and twisted arteries in the shoulder area can restrict blood flow to the brain. Researchers have found that restrictive postures during sleep increase intrathoracic pressure, which makes the heart work harder just to pump blood. For seniors already dealing with stiff arteries, high blood pressure, or heart disease, this creates the perfect conditions for a stroke during the night. Clara, a 72-year-old grandmother, always told her family she could only fall asleep in a ball. Her daughter noticed she often woke up gasping or with tingling in her hands. One morning, Clara woke with numbness on one side of her face and slurred speech, classic warning signs of a stroke. At the hospital, doctors explained that her tightly curled posture had compressed her chest and neck arteries for hours, reducing oxygen delivery to her brain. The lack of circulation made her blood more likely to clot while she slept. Clara recovered, but her doctors urged her to gradually adjust to a looser side sleeping position that kept her spine straighter and her airways open. The takeaway is simple. Seniors who curl up too tightly at night are literally cutting off their own oxygen and blood flow without realizing it. A slight bend in the knees while side sleeping is fine, but the fully curled fetal position should be avoided. Instead, try lying on your side with a supportive pillow between the knees to keep the hips aligned and the spine straight. This small change not only improves comfort, but also reduces dangerous pressure on the heart, lungs, and arteries. And while curling up feels safe, the next position is even more common, and it silently compresses your blood vessels in a way that makes overnight strokes far more likely. Number 3. Arms over the head, starfish position. Many seniors unknowingly drift into what's called the starfish position, where the body is stretched out flat and the arms are raised above the head. It feels like an open, relaxed posture, but physiologically it can become a ticking time bomb. When the arms are raised for hours, the brachial plexus nerves in the shoulders and the blood vessels under the collarbone are compressed. This restricts blood flow back to the heart and brain, forcing circulation to reroute in inefficient ways. The result is slower venous return, swelling in the hands, tingling in the fingers, and in some cases, even blood pooling in the arms. For seniors with already reduced vascular elasticity, this posture increases the risk of blood clots forming in the upper extremities. Those clots can easily travel to the brain, triggering a stroke in the middle of the night. Gerald, age 69, used to say he slept best spread out like a starfish. His wife noticed that many mornings he woke up with numb arms and couldn't grip his coffee mug without shaking it. One evening, after a night in that position, Gerald collapsed with sudden weakness on one side. At the ER, scans showed a clot had traveled from his upper veins to his brain. Doctors traced it back to his sleeping posture. Hours of arm compression had slowed his circulation to a crawl, letting a clot form silently while he slept. Gerald's recovery was long, but the lesson was instant. His sleeping position had directly contributed to his stroke risk. The takeaway is clear. Arms overhead may feel freeing, but for seniors, it secretly chokes circulation and heightens clotting risk. A safer alternative is keeping the arms lower, supported on pillows near the sides, which maintains steady blood flow and nerve function. Don't let a seemingly harmless habit block circulation when your brain depends on oxygen every second. And while this position is dangerous for the arms and brain, the next one is far worse. It forces your entire cardiovascular system to fight gravity all night long. Number 2. Flat on the back without a pillow. Many seniors believe that lying perfectly flat on the back with no pillow is the most natural way to sleep. But this posture is far from harmless. It can silently set the stage for a stroke. When the head rests flat against the mattress, gravity works against the airway and circulation. The tongue slides backward, narrowing or blocking the throat, which reduces oxygen intake. This condition, called sleep apnea, causes sudden drops in blood oxygen that force the heart and brain into crisis mode. Each episode of oxygen starvation triggers a spike in blood pressure and puts stress on blood vessels already weakened by age. Over months and years, these nightly surges destroy the lining of arteries, making them prone to rupture or clot formation, two direct pathways to a stroke. Take the story of Harold, age 72, who prided himself on sleeping like a soldier flat on his back with no pillow. His wife often noticed he would suddenly gasp in his sleep or stop breathing for several seconds, but Harold rushed it off. One night, she woke to find him convulsing. In the hospital, doctors confirmed he had suffered a stroke caused by chronic nighttime oxygen deprivation. The lack of a pillow had let his airway collapse over and over until his brain could no longer take the strain. The position he thought kept his spine straight was silently starving his brain. The danger doesn't stop with breathing. Sleeping flat also allows fluid to build up in the neck and brain, increasing intracranial pressure. For seniors whose cerebral blood vessels are already fragile, that extra pressure can be the final blow. By simply using a supportive pillow to keep the head slightly elevated, circulation improves, oxygen flow stabilizes, and stroke risk plummets. Never underestimate how a missing pillow can sabotage your health. What feels like discipline or comfort can actually be a nightly assault on your brain. And as shocking as that is, the most dangerous sleeping position of all, the number one stroke trigger, directly squeezes the brain's blood supply like a vice every single night. Number 1. Flat on the left side, severe heart/brain pressure. It sounds harmless, just lying on the left side. In fact, many seniors think this is the healthiest way to sleep. But the reality is shocking. This single position puts enormous pressure on both the heart and the brain, making it the most dangerous sleeping posture of all. When you lie on your left side, gravity drags the heart downward against the chest wall, compressing it. This mechanical squeeze makes the heart pump harder than it should, forcing blood into the left atrium and ventricle under pressure. That extra workload instantly raises blood pressure inside arteries feeding the brain. Night after night, this accelerates wear and tear on fragile cerebral vessels, increasing the risk of clots, hemorrhage, and stroke. The strain doesn't end there. This posture also worsens acid reflux because stomach acid flows more easily upward into the esophagus when the body is tilted left. Acid irritation triggers stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which tighten blood vessels and spike blood pressure. For seniors with already narrowed arteries, this becomes a perfect storm: mechanical heart compression plus chemical vessel stress. Scientists have even noted that patients with heart failure often experience more shortness of breath when lying on the left side, precisely because this position burdens circulation. Think of Margaret, age 74, who switched to left side sleeping after hearing it might help digestion. Within months, she began waking at night with palpitations, shortness of breath, and dizziness. Her cardiologist explained the harsh truth. The posture she thought was healthy had been forcing her heart to struggle for hours every night. Shortly after, she suffered a minor stroke. Margaret survived, but doctors confirmed her sleeping position had contributed directly to the event. This is why lying flat on the left side is the ultimate hidden trap. It feels restful, but it's a slow squeeze on your circulation and brain. Right side sleeping is generally safer for circulation, and a supportive pillow can reduce pressure on both the heart and the esophagus. But flat left side sleeping with no support is the most dangerous of them all, turning every night's rest into a silent attack on your brain. Now you see the truth. Something as innocent as the way you lie in bed can secretly strain your heart, rob your brain of oxygen, and even triple your stroke risk overnight. Most people never think twice about their sleeping position, but seniors cannot afford that mistake. Flat on your back, twisted on your stomach, curled into a ball, or even left side lying. Each one carries risks that pile up night after night, silently chipping away at circulation, memory, and muscle strength. The scariest part, you'll never feel it happening until it's too late. A single clot, a burst vessel, a sudden heart rhythm that won't slow down. That's why awareness is everything. By simply adjusting how you rest, using supportive pillows, elevating your head, or choosing safer positions, you can take enormous pressure off your heart and brain starting tonight. So seniors, pay attention. Your sleep is not just about rest. It can be the deciding factor between waking up stronger or not waking up at all. If this opened your eyes, drop a comment below. What's your usual sleeping position, and will you change it after hearing this? And don't forget hit that subscribe button, because we've got even more life-saving health videos coming your way every single week. Your future health could depend on the next one. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching.